Good afternoon. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I'm waiting on Tracy Lebenzon. Um, he was going to check in early, and I haven't seen him yet. So let me know if you guys can see me and if you can hear me okay, and all the things that we do when we go live. I don't know. Hopefully, this is working as it's supposed to. Um, oh, you do. You can see me and it looks good. Okay. Thank you, Buffy. If Tracy doesn't make it, I know he lives in the great Northwest. I used to live out there. I lived in the Seattle area, and I think he's even further out. And he was having difficulty with his internet and having things redone, and so hopefully he gets on. If not, I will go ahead and talk about his brushes, because I have a slew of them right here. And I can tell you about them, not as well as Tracy can, but we'll wait just a minute in case he does show up. One reason I love Tracy's brushes, I'll go ahead and tell you my part of the story in case he doesn't come online. I'll give you part of my story. I've had, as many of you know who know me, I've had multiple surgeries on this right thumb. And so because of that, my motion in this thumb is very limited. In fact, when I started watercolor, I had a brace on this hand and I had another brace on this hand. I had both thumbs done. And I actually began my watercolor practice, crazy as it may seem, after surgeries. And with my hands all bandaged up, I painted left hand. With my non-dominant, I painted with braces on. And that's how I found Tracy and became enamored with his brushes. What I began with was his goat hair synthetic. This is about a 1.5 inch bristle length bamboo handle. And they're so lightweight that for someone that has arthritis, as I do, and surgeries and difficulties with movement, this has made it so easy because you just don't feel it in your hand. It's like air. You don't feel anything. So, and the other thing I like about them is they have a beautiful tip. Now this tip has, it's curling a little bit. I have used this a lot. The other one that I use a great deal that I love, and believe it or not, I use this great big giant one I can do an entire painting with this. The goat hair synthetic again, but it holds so much water. In fact, I have to be careful not to dip into my water too much because I'll have too much water in the barrel of this brush and I have to tap it on a paper towel or something. But the tip on this brush is so, I told someone the other day, it's absolutely exquisite. Because I can do entire paintings using the barrel of the brush, the size of the brush, and even to the tip, the very tip of this brush, and do an entire painting if I want to do detail work. So that is also incredible to me. And this one hangs. Sometimes I hang it on the side of my water jar. I have a lamp here at my desk that I hang it on. Because his brushes, the bristles go down about 3 inches into the handle. Each one is made by hand. He does it all. I'm sorry, he's not here to tell you, but he does it all by hand. Each brush takes over 50 steps to get the bristles and the bamboo prepared. And they're just amazing. There is no ferrule on the end of his brushes. This one is silver fox, and it feels like so soft. I can't explain how soft this feels, but it too has a nice point, and it's a beautiful, beautiful soft brush, which is especially good for watercolor, as you guys know. So I enjoy his silver fox as well. It's another one I have. Another one that I really like is called his Itty Bitty. And this one, if you can see how tiny this is a synthetic. This is not a natural hair. And I'll get back to his natural hair brushes in a minute because he doesn't. Oh, Tracy's here. Yay. Let me add him.
Yay.
Hang on, guys. Tracy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I went ahead and started without you, and I'm showing your brushes.
And I'm so sorry for the problem. I got a couple of surprises at the end of it. And the last time I used the StreamYard app with another group, there was no app, and I just used my browser. This time it didn't want to use my browser. So here we are. How are you doing?
Yay! I am so glad. And we have another well-known artist, Buffy Kaufman, is online watching briefly. I don't know if you know Buffy.
I know her indirectly. She's one of my customers. Hello, Buffy. I've never met you before. It's a pleasure.
She has a beautiful little collection that she keeps in a really cool little vase. So she's with us, and I'm hoping that my Follow Your Brush people are on as well, because we're not on, Buffy says hi. We're not on Facebook. I'm not doing lives on Facebook anymore. But I was just showing them, I'll catch you up to what I just talked about, and then you can fill in the blanks. I have a bunch, as you know, of your babies.
Yes, you do. It's a beautiful collection.
Yes,
Thank you.
I do. And then this one that was gifted to me, which is most gracious, and I absolutely love it. But I was telling them how I love this one. I was just talking about this, how I can use this one for an entire painting. It's a large, but I can use the belly of the brush as well as that exquisite tip to get my details. So I've already told them why I use them, because of my hands and the surgeries. But let's hear from you. How did you get started doing this? Let's get this rolling.
Well, first, thank you very much. I haven't done one of these conversations for a while, so I'm a little bit rusty on it. And
that's okay.
At the risk of candor, I thought this meeting was going to be like 2 hours from now, so I don't have all the goodies that I planned on having. I got our time zone split. It was 1 o'clock for you and 10 o'clock for me, and I was thinking it was 1 o'clock for me. So I was working on some other things, and then, oh no, I better check something, and then complication on complication. So anyway. I apologize for that. Nothing like catching somebody off guard. Anyway, so I started as a brush maker as a second career for myself, and also as kind of a tribute to my cousin Keith. My cousin Keith was the original brush maker for Lebenzon paintbrushes. He worked from the late 1970s until about 2008 approximately, and developed a huge following. Not quite the dawn of the internet, but predating that slightly, and then up into not quite the modern era. Things have changed a lot since 2008. He and I used to talk a lot about the business of it. So he told me about art shows and calligraphy shows and things of that type. He is about 15 years older than me. And so it was all very new to me. I was just starting in college at the time that we yacked across this, and then he continued to do that, and I kind of went off into another area. Anyway, I decided it would be really cool to, as a second career for myself, to become a brush maker. So in about 2014, I took the idea seriously, and I started teaching myself how to make brushes. when I worked with Keith was my cousin's first name, Lebenzon last name, and I I never learned the technical side of making brushes from him, the actual how-to. I had some memories of what he did, and I found a lot of pictures of his stuff on the web. And by a lot of experience, trial and error, and feedback from people over time, I kept improving and improving. My goal was from the outset to make a really high quality product and not necessarily an inexpensive product. It just takes time to make them. And as I get better and better at it, my mildly, shall we say, OCD nature draws me to do more and more things that make just minor improvements. But when you look at something as I do and making them for hour after hour, you want to get rid of this problem and that problem.
Right.
And so it really drives the process. And so at this point, by what started out as trial and error and then generations of refinement, it takes me about 50 steps to make each brush. The big brushes take a little more, the little ones a little bit less, but pretty much the same steps. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying that's amazing to me. But one of the reasons that I started using it, as you know, is because of my hand problems. Started with the wangy handle with the goat hair synthetic. Can you tell us why it doesn't have a ferrule?
Sure. Well, there's a couple reasons for it. First, the handles I use are made from different types of bamboo. The wangi is a bamboo root material. The other one that you hold is a rhizome. That's actually the interface between the wangi and the bamboo cane. Where the bristle is where the bamboo cane would erupt. And if you can see the spots and things on the side of it, that's where the wangi would come out of. So it's really like the middle ground between the one and the other. And anyway, those are, the cane in particular has its own opening in it. And because of that, I don't really need a ferrule. I also, in my research, found out that the ferrule is the #1 cause for paintbrushes wearing out for two main reasons. The first one being that it puts a lot of stress right where the brush bristle meets the ferrule, because it's like bending a paper clip. No matter what you do, it's going to put the stress in the same point. So in part because of that, they wear out pretty quickly. The second
like
part,
something like this we're talking about this area.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the second part is that my brushes hold a lot more liquid than our ink or whatever the paint material may be than traditional brushes. And that's because even though the brush bristle may seem to be an inch long, it in reality is closer to 3 inches long. I use some of that for glue, but with paintbrushes, what you have is what you get to work with, and I hide the part that isn't there. So no matter, the Goten synthetic is a great example. If you get a 3/4 inch one, or if you get a 2-inch one, there's still roughly 2.5 inches of usable brush material there. So it holds a lot more water, and as you apply paint to it, it allows the paint to blend much more evenly, and the brush bristle goes and goes and goes. So the combination of longevity and performance are why I don't use a ferrule.
Right. And it does go and go and go. I have to remind myself not to keep dipping into my water like I would with maybe another brush, because it holds so much water for me that it just keeps it there. And if I'm not careful, I end up drowning my painting because I use too much water. I got to watch my water control. This is my itty bitty. And I wanted to share this one because I wanted to show you and whomever is watching. I did this, all the leaves in this with the itty bitty. Can you see that?
I can. Cool.
But I did not paint every little leaf. I mean, and especially in watercolor, we say, you don't paint every leaf. But this little itty bitty, I was able to get this in the pigment and just squiggle. I mean, I just kind of scribble these lines. And it gave me the most beautiful foliage, because foliage can be a challenge. So I love my little itty bitty. So if anybody wants a detail brush that will go and go, I love that little itty bitty. So that's, I enjoy that. And that one's a synthetic, right? This is a synthetic.
It's too small for me to see, but I'll take your word on it. I make two different types.
Orange.
Yes, orange synthetic. I can see it now. Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
make two different types of them. One is the
Yeah.
orange synthetic, and one is what I call my Siberian elk. And yeah, it's nice. You can spray the tip of it a little bit, and it
Yeah.
produces a really nice
Yeah.
effect.
There's a
And go
there's a
ahead.
nice tip. I just put it in some water so it's you can get a tip on there. Um, you see my next question. Um, you kind of already talked about this, but what is your goal, personal goal for each brush?
Well, I make a good variety of them. At art shows is where I started out presenting these, and what I found with artists is that there is such a thing as an ideal brush, but it's a little bit different for every artist.
Yes.
And on the one part, um, some people like a brush bristle that is much stiffer and springier. Some people like them which are much softer. Some people have a really fast hand. Some people are very, very methodical. So I literally make over 200 different brushes. I forget the number. It kind of keeps growing. I'll mention that again in a second or two. And but they came out from customer feedback, and also because I make each brush type in different sizes, I use different brush bristle materials, 16 of them the last time I counted. And the difference is in part for the materials and in part because what is perfect feedback is changes a little bit from person to person. And
Yeah.
so people get used to a certain type of brush and you want to appease your customers. And so I offer things that range from both synthetic and natural hair, which are very stiff, and springy, and which are very soft. And so sometimes it can take a couple tries to find just the right feedback, but I offer a wide range of them for that purpose. And then I
Hmm.
also wanted to make a quick mention about the itty bitty and customer feedback. Initially, I did not make that brush, but a customer said, you know, it would be nice to have a brush that is really tiny in diameter. And so I generally, my small diameter brushes start at about 2 millimeters. And a quick digression, each brush is a one-of-a-kind creation. And
Hmm.
the size of the bamboo determines the size of the bristle. So I found some that were really tiny in the opening, about 1.5 to 1.8 millimeters. And so I measure very carefully to see how much bristle material is used for that. And I produced them, and the customer absolutely loved them. I think she ended up ordering 5 of them, and I went, oh, this is cool. So I started to offer them as the itty bitty line. And then somebody else said, well, can you make one that is a natural hair version? So my Siberian elk brush bristle, which is a really fine bristle material, but also has a nice feedback to it for an almost invisible bristle material. Was the add-on to that. And I've been making them everywhere from about half an inch in length up to
Okay.
about 1 inch in length. And
Mm.
they have become very popular. And
So that would make a great long liner brush if you're doing. I'm just thinking of what I'm painting. Like if you're doing like you want some graceful limbs or something, that would a long line itty bitty would be great.
yeah, it is superb for that
Ooh.
because there's not much brush to it. I think there are other brushes. I have some around here, but they're not right in front of me. But because they are so fine in diameter, they have a very, very light touch to them. So if you haven't been working with brushes for a long time, I would steer you towards the synthetic orange version of it because it'll provide just that much more feedback. But if you're really comfortable with working with softer brushes, then the Siberian elk, as with all things, natural hair brushes produce, what I'm trying to say, they hold a lot more liquid than synthetics do. Synthetics are loved the world over because they provide more spring to them. And I don't have a comparable natural hair brush that provides the spring of my orange synthetic, which is part of the reason I offer it.
Right. Now, while we're talking about natural hair, in case someone is asking or wondering about where you source your materials, let's go ahead and throw that in here now so that people can, if they're vegan, they're not going to be offended by your natural hair brushes.
Oh, sure. Well, thank you for asking about that.
I
It's a
think it's
long
important.
story. It is, and it's a different consciousness that shows how much the world has changed since my cousin did it. When my cousin was making brushes, there was really not so much issue. First, synthetic bristles in the 1970s, 1980s, even into the 2000s. Honestly, they were horrible. They were made of vinyl material, and they had all the tactile feedback of a shower curtain. and but nowhere near the feedback. And so when I started looking into this, I have real strong ethical issues about critters. I love animals.
Yeah.
I have on an average day, I'll feed probably 20 or 30 birds and at least 7 raccoons,
Yes.
and they go through a lot of food. So I'm
Yep.
not the guy to be killing things. What I have done to kind of solve the problems, at least for my own sense of ethics, is I repurpose materials as often as possible, and I get them through primarily through estate sales. So as you know, most pelts come to people as a form of a trophy of one type or another, or a gift or something. So it makes it from something that's really prized that they wear it on their shoulders, sometimes their coats. Inevitably, they end up in the back of a closet someplace, and then time passes and they end up on the floor of the closet. And then I don't know when they started, but there's these things called estate sales, and you can find them. I use Craigslist a lot and Google Advanced Search. It's one of the best ways to find things. And so it gives me access to that. And then even with those, not all I get works because I am a long since former smoker. I quit smoking back in the early 1990s. It's a story unto itself.
Yeah.
But I was, anyway, I won't go into that one. But a lot of the stuff that I get comes from former smokers. And boy, there's nothing, nobody is more sensitive to the senses. I can't get the words out right. Nobody is more sensitive to the smell of tobacco smoke than a former smoker.
Former
And
smoker.
so,
Yeah.
so probably I would say 20–30% of the pelts that I get are unusable because I don't want that to go out, and you really can't
Right.
get rid of the scent of it. So that's what I use with all of the more exotic materials. And then there are some materials like goat hair and pony hair that are repurposed, meaning that the goats and the ponies get haircuts.
Right.
The pony that I get is first cut. They get them from young ponies. The very first cut, the pony hair is pointed, but after that, it's been cut, so it's flat on the end. And so the first cut on them is it's a really nominal thing. But with goat hair, they taper slightly, but not so much. You can't really tell, but it's a very fine hair. The thing about goat hair is it's the most popular overall. Anyway, I could go off into the weeds a long way on the nature of different hairs, but
That's fun.
that's
I want you to bring that up.
sure. Well, thank you for asking about it. So yeah, the ability to have materials that were not selected through the traditional routes that you get for brushes,
Right.
to put it politely, are the way that I've gone about doing this, and it helps me to sleep at night. I don't think I could deal with natural hair materials if it was done any other way.
And
So,
I think your customers probably appreciate that because I know there are a lot of people that don't want to use natural hair brushes.
right, and that's why I offer both
Right.
natural hair and synthetics as well. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I get a lot of feedback on that topic, and it's hard to understand it. Some people want to know that the animals were raised ethically. I don't
Sure.
have any control over that. I just buy this stuff from other people. I can't help what's been done, but I like to think that it's maybe a better use to do that
Sure.
than to have something end up in another way. So
Sure.
anyhow,
I haven't tried your pony hair. Is that good for watercolor or is that uh, what medium?
pony hair is good for watercolor. It's a super soft material. So the cool thing about it is it delivers liquid in a very predictable way, but it's the only material I've ever come across where if somebody has a really fast hand or they like to do really heavily expressive strokes, it will actually keep up with that. Most other brushes you paint quickly, and about the end of the first stroke, this starts to run out of water and give a nice dry brush technique, and then thereafter you have to dip the brush again. And pony hair is one of the few that will go much longer and still do a very controlled delivery along the way.
Very
So,
interesting. Okay, I'm making a list here, Tracy. I see new things I'm going to have to add.
all right, I'm keeping track of those. So,
No, I'll send you an order. Um, let me. Uh, oh, you already said you make over 200, right? That was one of my questions.
yeah, I'm not sure the number. I think it's 230 or maybe a little bit more. I don't count that
Yeah,
often.
because of the different sizes and materials. And what is your most popular?
Well, I
What do
get a
you
lot
sell
of,
most?
what grows the brush volume is I get a lot of special requests. Somebody recently asked for the rhizome handle that you have and a
Yes.
silver fox brush. And
Oh,
so they are, and also a large diameter version of that. My medium ones, which is what you have, are about 7 millimeters at the where the bristle meets the handle, and
Right.
the large ones start at 9 and go up to about 12 millimeters. So substantially bigger. Each millimeter is a lot more
Here's
hair.
my silver fox. Now that is super soft.
Right, and but it's still remarkably springy, and it has a tip on it
Oh yeah.
that you almost need a magnifying glass to see it, especially in the smaller diameters. So,
Yeah,
so
it paints beautifully. It paints beautifully. I think my main go-to, I always end up going back to this one, or my big one. I've had this one forever. And that's another thing. We'll talk about the value of your brushes and how they last. Because I've had this for ages and ages.
and cool. Well, first let me answer your other question after I got off into that digression. Well, I still remember it if I can, because some things are fleeting for me. You asked about the most popular brush, and my
Yes.
goat and synthetic blend is by far the most popular. It's a blend of goat hair, which I said before is repurposed material, and it's also renewable. And the material that I bought from goat hair was originally intended for makeup brushes. So it's super clean. It's been, each time you clean a brush, it's called dressing it. They're washed, they're combed out, they're cut so that the uniform is very uniform. Did I get that right? The length is very uniform. And so anyway, then it's a long story. I tend to get into these digressions,
That's
and
okay.
I sometimes get lost on the way out of them. So, but anyway, the combination of really nice high quality goat hair, and then I use some of the same material I use for what I call my synthetic sable. It's a very springy synthetic that has a super fine tip. The shortcoming of goat hair, as I noted, is that it's square and doesn't really taper much, but the synthetic is, if I have a,
Well, you blend it together.
right,
Yes.
it's a mix of about, you can't really tell with that one. It's
Yeah.
about 10% synthetic. The synthetic is a bit longer, thank you. It's about, I'm trying to remember the length. I come up as a blank, but it's long enough that so that it's longer than the goat hair, so the two don't blend. But what ends up happening is that the goat hair and synthetic blend works like two brushes that are beautifully melded together. You get the superfine tip with the synthetic, and then if you work on the belly of the brush, you're working with goat hair, and then the goat hair holds more water per hair volume
Right.
than even like a Kolinsky. It's just the best the world over. It's the most popular. So I put the two together, and I offer more varieties of the goat and synthetic blend than any other type of brush I make, because just like I was saying with the rhizome handle silver fox, people say, can you make one like this? And I'll say, sure, I've got the pieces. It's not hard to put them together. And so I'm open to suggestion on some things for that. As I make more and more of these, I become a little bit more reluctant because it's a lot to manage. But anyway, the goat and synthetic, probably the number one most popular is the small, excuse me, small diameter and medium diameter. I guess that's 1 and 2. Goat and synthetic blend with a 1 inch long bristle. They are
Okay.
extremely popular. The next most popular one is the 1.5 inch long version of the goat and synthetic blend. And then my synthetic sables overall are the number 3 most popular. And then they come in at a lower price point. And then amongst my top end brushes, the Silver Fox and the Siberian Elk come out as the most popular there. So it's hard to keep track of. I generally am busier making them and packaging them than
I know.
actually knowing, but I know that sometimes I have a minimum build. When somebody orders one brush and I don't have it, I'll make anywhere from 3 to 5 of them, depending upon how many I think I will be selling in the near future. When I do the goat and synthetics, I usually do 10 as a minimum because they just keep showing up again and again and again.
And you
Bless your
got the
hearts for,
holidays. Holidays are coming, so the
yes,
great,
absolutely.
great
And
gift.
And then one more point on the large diameter goat and synthetic. A significant number of people, probably, I don't know, 30, 40, maybe 100, I get kind of lost in that, love the large goat and synthetic blend. I've had an inordinate number of people that tell me that they buy that one and they have abandoned all their other brushes. Honestly, I think they probably do that for a while, because the beauty of different brushes is that they all have their own different technique, but it is such a flexible brush, everything from full page washes down to hair fine details with just
Yep.
one brush. And yeah, it's a real spoiler.
It, I love it. Yeah, I use it all the time. I just have to keep mine away from my cats because one morning I woke up and my cats had discovered your brushes
Oh no.
and they loved them. And there was two of them that were eaten. And I was like, oh, oh my God, no, no, not my Lebenzon brushes. But so now I keep them safe and secure from all cats and all harm.
I think I remember when you told me that. I get a couple stories like that a year. I had a few cats, a few puppies. Puppies really love the wangy handles and not in good
I
ways.
bet.
And
Yeah.
then some people that have pet lizards, believe it or not, I guess lizards really like bamboo, or maybe it's the hair. I don't know which. But
Well,
yeah, they,
mine,
they
mine
go
like
ahead.
the hair, not the bamboo, but they like the hair. They were also kittens at the time, and so I think they might have been. I don't know. I just keep them away from them now. I love my cats, but don't but don't touch my brushes.
I will. I will get your address out and send you some toy mice. We have
Yeah,
cats too, and we have toy stuffed mice that we put, we don't put it, but the people that make it put catnip in it, and they can't get enough of
yeah,
them.
yeah. Trust me, my cats are very spoiled, and so are my raccoons. I've got raccoons outside too, and we love watching them as well.
Oh yeah, bless your heart. I
They
came
come
to.
every night. The only time we didn't like them is when they got into the attic.
I had that problem too. That was before I really fell for them. Do you mind if I share a short raccoon
Oh
story?
no, no, you can
So
share a raccoon story.
Um, I had a raccoon. You can't see it from here. I could turn the camera, but the deck is right out there. And I had this mom showed up with three little raccoons. And I've always been generous to the wildlife here. My place, this is my studio. It's literally 20 miles into the woods. And so this side of me, there is literally nothing but forest land for 60
Wow,
miles in Mount Rainier
wow.
National Park. I really lucked into this place. It's a story unto itself. But I get a lot of wildlife through here as the
Oh
end
yeah.
result of it. And I grew up in the suburbs like a lot of people. I didn't know from wildlife at all. So a long story told as briefly as I can, this raccoon mom showed up with three little babies. And I am a sucker. I can't help it. I have a kind heart and I like to help things as I can. And so I, over a matter of days, figured out food that I could give to them without breaking the bank. And just to digress on that, I found a place called, they're a national company, I think it's called Tractor Service Company.
Yeah,
And
like Tractor
they,
Supply. Hmm.
yeah, there it is. They have the best buy on dog food you can find. So
Raccoons
I,
like.
I now go through like 50 pounds or more a week of it. So anyway, there's this mom with the three little babies. And then probably a month or 2 months after they showed up, the mom disappeared. And like I said, I'm 20 miles into the woods and there's large and small creatures here. So I can't control their lives, but I can make
Right.
sure that they get a good meal. So the three babies showed up and I just continued to feed them and I put water out for them and they'd show up twice a day and sometimes not at all. And I'd fret. Well, then I actually have descendants of all three of them here, but one of them named Roxy, she became a mom the next summer. And then probably 2 months after she brought her babies to me, she had four babies and she got into a fight and one of the babies was gone and Roxy's left front leg and her right rear leg were severely damaged. Like I didn't think she was going to make it, but I continued to feed her and the babies and she hung around a lot more. But a long story told briefly, she recovered enough to be autonomous and she is a ferociously strong critter. And she became a friend. I called her, I named her, I got her so that she would come just inside the door. She'd never go more than like a body length inside the door, but I fed her there and I fed her babies. And that was several years ago. And raccoons don't live very long in the wild. They have a really harsh life.
Hmm.
And I've helped them live an extra year or so. But anyway, now I have descendants of her, and then another one that was named Maurice, and as well as some other ones. The many other ones come and go. Raccoons, not strictly territorial, but I guess they know a good thing when they see it, so they tend to defend the space that they have here from other raccoons, especially when spring comes around and the moms are wanting a territory for their own. So yeah, I could go on about raccoons.
Yeah, we have them. We have babies. We have the mamas. We have possums, and we're really not in the country, so to speak, like you are, but they're clearing a lot of land around where we live.
Oh,
So
sure.
we see deer. We see everything.
Sure.
Armadillos. We've had armadillos recently. Possums, baby possum on the porch. So we have a lot of wildlife here, even though
Cool.
the coyotes I'm not too crazy about. They can just keep moving on because I don't want them getting my other babies. But we're getting off the topic here. But anyway, we love the value of your. That was my last question was the value of your, how they last and last and last your brushes.
Well, thanks. And how's the Follow Your Brush website going? I've been so busy the last few months, I haven't had a chance to check in on it.
The group is growing, and yeah, we're doing great. And even though this is not on Facebook today, I do have, I call it my baby YouTube channel. I have it's not over 1,000 members, and I do it just for fun, and that's what we're on today. And it's also called Follow Your Brush. So I have that as well. So I kind of have, but it just keeps me busy and keeps me out of trouble. My granddaughter's 13, and she told me I was a baddie grandma, and my 16-year-old grandson said, "Grandma, that's a good thing." So it just keeps me busy, and I paint every day. So painting every day, you get to know your brushes and you get your favorites. And I have, I use, like I said, I use this one the most, but I also do like to use the smaller ones sometimes for the detail. And like I was showing you in this one, and the itty bitty was fun. It was just so much fun just to squiggle that little itty bitty on the page.
It's nice when the brush does the work.
Yeah, the brush does the work, seriously. And with watercolor, I feel like watercolor paints itself too. So it often does. You just put it down and it surprises you. You never know what it's going to do. And it's a lot of fun. And I love to do a lot of free flow and putting the water on and then the pigment and just letting it run down. And I did just run down and trickle. Here's some ideas I did the other day.
Oh, that is spectacular.
Yeah, I really love it. I just enjoy watercolor. I just enjoy painting, period. It's my therapy.
It's a great therapy.
I used to say it's cheaper than therapy, but when you start buying art supplies, it's not.
Yeah, the trend of everything. Well, before I forget, I want to say congratulations on both the YouTube page and the Facebook page. I followed those from early on, and I kind of check in and I don't check in from time to time, but the growth has been just stunning. It's a real tribute to you. It's different from any other Facebook page I've seen because you are like a mom to everybody that shows up there and very supportive in all cases.
I'm that baddie grandma, right?
Well, in the best possible way.
Yes. Actually, I started the Facebook page. It'll be 4 years in May.
It's been 4 years? Wow.
3 years. And you were my very first live interview on my Facebook page. I was so excited when you agreed. And I was just over the moon. I told my daughter, Angela Fair had recommended your brush. And at that time I had one when I did my first interview with you, and my daughter had gotten it for me for Christmas. And then I soon began adding to them, and the rest is history. I have a lot. When I find something I really like, I just I'll buy it, you know,
Well, bless your heart for all of
and
what
the
you just
different
said
size.
and more.
Yeah. And I really enjoy it. Where do you get all your bamboo? That's a good question.
I get it from everywhere. Some, like the Wengi handles, I import from Jakarta, and it's
Ooh,
because it's the only place that makes, not makes, but their bamboo grows large enough so that I can get large enough Wengi. It has to be about 3/4 of an inch in round numbers for me to be able to do what I do with it. All bamboo creates that. The Wengi material is the reason that bamboo starts in your neighbor's yard and ends up on the other side of your yard after a few years, or not necessarily you, but anybody. It's the running root is what some people call it. And it's very aggressive, but usually I'm in Washington State and we don't get a lot of large diameter
oh,
bamboo. Even if you plant it, it doesn't get that large, but the, um, the root is too small to be able to be usable. And also it's very corkscrewed. So there's steps to get the things to straighten out a bit. It's one of my
get
main
the
challenges.
right kind.
And so that comes from Jakarta, same as the rhizome material. And then the cane, I put out ads in Craigslist primarily to clean out people's groves around the Seattle area and sometimes a little beyond. And my ideal grove is something that hasn't been touched for several years. And
You get a lot.
I get a really sore back and a trailer full of bamboo out of it. And but it's a very fun thing to do. There's a healthy way to clean them. You can take about 30–40% of the bamboo out, and it won't hurt the grove at all. Within 2 years, it'll all come
Right.
back, and it refreshes it. But the stuff that is bamboo is hard to tell age, but roughly between 3 years or older is the ideal stuff. And then I keep it in my worldwide headquarters, which is more commonly referred to as the root cellar behind my garage, where the humidity is a pretty constant 60%. And I keep it off the ground so that it lays flat, and I'll store it that way for at least a year. And
Okay.
it's the most workable that way. And then,
I have a question from a Buffy.
sure.
Buffy says, let me put her question up. Does Tracy make flat or angle brushes?
At this point, no, I just make my brushes are all based on calligraphy brushes. And before I forget, thank you for the question. I get that from time to time. I looked into making those, but I make so many already that it really becomes uh, it's just more than I can keep up with. If
Okay.
I had a production facility that was more than my left hand and my right hand, it would be easy to say, "Hey, can you guys make this for me?" But it's all gets down to what I do.
All
I've
right.
thought about it. You also need a ferrule to do those, right?
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how the shape is made. I
Okay.
could I could do the ferrule just by casting it, but it's just a
That's
really
just
big.
not in your scheme of things right
Yeah,
now.
it's more than I can do.
All right. Buffy has another question. Um, and that is it's been a while since she's been to the website. She wants to check out your new creation. She wants to hear about other synthetic options.
Oh, sure. Well, I make 4 different types of synthetic materials. There is the synthetic sable, which is the softest material and what I use in my goat and synthetic blend. There is the brown synthetic, which is a little bit springier, and I'll talk in a second about the differences, a little bit springier than the synthetic sable. And then there's the orange synthetic, which is used in my itty bitties as well as a bunch of other ones. And it's springier yet. And then I have what I refer to as my stiff white synthetic, which is white in color and very stiff. And
Yeah.
don't use the color as a guide for synthetics. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that this is a white. It was white at one time.
Yeah, it looks like it. So what differentiates synthetics, they're all made of, assuming mine are made from a material called Taclon, and what makes them more or less springy is not the color, because you'll see somebody else that has an orange color synthetic that I assure you will be nothing like mine, probably. Mine is all ordered. And anyway, the distinctive feature is the relative diameter of the individual brush filament, as they call it with synthetics, instead of bristle, which is what they call it with natural hair. Why? I have no idea. As the expression goes, I just ride on the bus, I don't drive it. So
Right.
um, anyway, the diameter varies from less than a millimeter in diameter, I'd say down to like maybe a 1/4 millimeter. and this is at the tip, just behind the tip. I could show you with this, but it would be too small to be able to do something useful with. But so like my synthetic sable is about, I'd have to measure it. I didn't plan for that. I apologize.
That's okay.
But let's say the synthetic sable is a factor of 1. The brown synthetic is a factor of 3, so roughly 3 times the diameter. The orange is a factor of 6, so 6 times the diameter. And then the stiff white is a factor of about, I forget, let's go up to 12. It's a pretty stiff material. That's not to say that these are so big that they're like handling anything large, but that's the difference. And the stiffer the bristle, the bigger the diameter of the material. And then they all come down to a really fine tip, but you can only stack so many that are so big into a space. Sure. And so that the smaller diameter bristles produce a much finer point than the large ones, unless you just make a really small diameter bristle. So that's why the itty bitty has such a nice fine point to it. Yeah. And my small diameter brushes also have a fine point to it, but after that, with the coarser bristle sizes, they are much more difficult. It's the same as like a really popular brush for working with more viscous materials, like a heavy body acrylic or an oil, or some things that are used for pottery, is called a boar hair or a pig hair bristle. And those are super. Those are about the thickest diameter. I'm looking over there to see if I have any bristles of anything I know of, but you can't possibly get a fine point with them unless you're using a really gooey, sticky material that will cause them to all stick together. Well, the same is true with the filaments with the tack-on. There's probably other materials out there that are usable, but they become very rare to find. And
okay,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just listening. I'm just saying, okay.
Okay, and the area where I'm at, there's a little bit of a lag, and because I'm so far into the woods, and there's like me to my modem, and then it's about 3 miles to the closest cell tower. So all those things add in delays, and it's greatly improved over what I had for the last 20, 22, 23 years, where it was slightly better than dial-up modem. that was hard to work with. Yeah. And so anyway, the bristle diameter has a huge impact on how fine a point my brushes can be, or any brush can be. And my brushes are all based loosely on the idea of calligraphy brushes, meaning extremely well made and designed to be handed down through the generations. Oh, on that point, my brushes all come with a lifetime warranty for materials and workmanship. Typically, they may shed a little bit, but not very much, and they'll last pretty much forever. Realistically, like a synthetic bristle brush, 20 plus years, the synthetic bristle will start to get brittle. There is a thing called normal wear and tear, and a 20-year-old brush is subject to a lot of wear and tear. But generally speaking, they last forever. I think I'm the only brush maker that warranties against them. I also don't warranty against attacks by iguanas or cats or dogs or anything like that. There's only so far it can go. And
you only take it so far. Talk about your shipping. I know you sent me a list of different things. What about your shipping, and where do you ship to? And
oh, sure, thank you. Well, shipping, I'm in my 4th generation of packages. USPS, excuse me, recently had and are about to have another rate increase. And I used to ship in these really nice shipping tubes. So I had to switch that out to boxes. And I used to ship everything USPS priority. But honestly, priority shipping got to be just a farce at the risk of being direct about it. So I switched to much bigger boxes. And they are, in my opinion, not built as well, but I've sent several hundred and nobody's complained about it. And I now ship Ground Advantage to the United States. And then I also have, that takes about a week. I have 3-day shipping going with UPS 2nd day air. And it's supposed to be 2nd day, but reality being reality, sometimes it's 3. That's still pretty good. Priority mail is supposed to be 3-day too. And starting last holiday season, it almost never was. So, and then I also have faster shipping. I also ship to, I've kind of lost track. Last time I checked, it was 50 nations. I'm probably someplace between 10 and 20 more than that. So over most of the world, certainly not quite half of the world, but I do that. And then I also ship in that by means of the same, it's called International Ground Advantage, which takes about a month to get to the destination, or I can ship with UPS. They call it priority. I forget what it's called, but it's like about, because customs is involved in international, it's 7 to 10 day destinations to just about anywhere. And then I also can ship by FedEx. Sometimes people want to get stuff really quick, and so I can go that way too. FedEx I price out per order because it depends. It varies greatly depending upon the weight of the package, how fast the customer wants it, and the size of the brushes. They use what's called dimensional weight as well as the actual weight of it. So the
Sure.
brushes weigh next to nothing by themselves. Part of the beauty of them is that they're extremely light, probably anywhere from a third to half the weight of another brush that's comparable in other ways, and a lot more comfortable to work with. So anyway, yeah, the short answer is I ship to at least, let's call it at least 60 nations at this point.
That's
And
awesome. So if our viewers, and in my Follow Your Brush group, I have people all over the world. I have one gal that I talk to almost daily on Follow Your Brush, and she's in Australia. So she posts at nighttime, which is morning for her. And then she's also going into spring where we're going into fall. So she and I are always bantering back and forth on Follow Your Brush. And she'll say, she'll post something and I'll say, I see it when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning.
I run into that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I
But,
run into that a lot too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We do have members, like all over, and who knows on YouTube what we'll see. And I have found, as I watch other YouTubers with watercolor in particular, that they'll have a Lebenzon brush, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, yes, yeah, see, yeah. So I know that I'm not the only one by any stretch of the imagination, nor did I ever think I was.
Oh, the reach of the internet is just extraordinary now.
Yeah,
I never guessed. Like I said, I started out doing art shows in part, like I said, because I thought it'd be a good second career, and I'm very happy with doing it. It it makes me happy in a number of ways. First, I'm a creative person. Second, I love things that require a lot of concentration. And third, I love to innovate. They're all just built into me. And so it is really well suited for all of that. And doing art shows is a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. But
sure.
When I made the transition between shows and showing on the web, the reach was just extraordinary. You've said the same thing. And I communicate with people on any given day. I'll get, well, honestly, anywhere between no email up to over 100 email messages. I sometimes despair because it's and
Can't answer them all.
And well, it's really hard. It just becomes
Yeah.
a sinkhole, and I have only me to do everything that I have to do. So it's a real challenge, and I hate to slight anybody, and I don't mean to do that, but it sometimes happens inadvertently. So you can't win them all. And but I just had somebody from Finland. They were a first-time customer. It was the first time that I've shipped to that part of the Norwegian countries. I hope I get that right. I get that mixed up sometimes. But they're next to Norway, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to just sink myself in worse if I keep going on that. So anyway, I just get, it tickles me anytime I get to hear from somebody from a place I haven't done before. And I remember I got an order from Gibraltar about a year ago. And, you've heard of the Rock of Gibraltar, but you never really think of it being a place.
Right.
And I've sent to Peru, and it just goes on and on and on. I just am amazed by that. When I was doing shows, I traveled to, I think, let's call it 20 something states, someplace between 20 and 25. And it was the first time I've gotten to see a lot of the country. And then, like, my brushes have been around like at least half the earth, and
Yeah,
it's just,
you haven't.
it just blows me away. And so it's a real honor. It really is.
Well,
Some people have accused me of being a cult leader. I'm not. I'm just a brush maker. And but it's a real honor that people so far away are willing to buy the brushes of me, and it's like nothing else I've ever experienced. It just blows me away. Brings honestly a little bit.
I've got to say, Angela says, Angela Fair,
Right.
Angela
I do.
She talks about how our art comes from our heart, and we can end with this with the not only does it come from our heart, but as my little quote is, follow your brush. With your brushes, I'm able to follow your heart too.
Oh, well, thank you. You got me on
And
that one.
I really, really, I just don't know. I think my painting process would be very much different without your brushes, honestly, because of the restrictions with my hands. And it has made a tremendous difference in my painting practice, and I know others. Now, as the holidays are coming, can we have a sale? Can we do a
Yes,
coupon?
thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I have a coupon in your name. Use the coupon word PAM, P-A-M,
Okay.
and I technically expire them at the end of the month, but this being coming up on the Christmas holidays, they'll be active
Yeah.
through the end of the year. And
I'll put that out there.
but
And
yeah, if you do order, and I hope you will, do me a big favor and order earlier, because
yes,
I am one person and my order volume goes up exponentially during the holidays, and I do the best I can, but no matter what, I only have so many hours in a
you
day.
don't have little elves in there helping you.
Just my right hand and my left hand and my little
out
elf
the,
fingers. So
the great Northwest instead of the North Pole.
I've tried to get the raccoons to help, but they only help themselves. So
I know. Well, Tracy, thank you so much. And this will be saved, and so it'll be able to replay, and other people will begin to share it, and then I'll also share it on my Follow Your Brush on Facebook. And I just so appreciate you, and your friendship has meant a lot to me.
it's meant a lot to me too on your
I
side
just
too.
want
Thank
to let
you.
you know that even though we've never met in person, you mean a great deal to me, and I appreciate all
Oh,
you do. I really do.
thank you. Thank you. You do too. It's been just a pleasure. That's one of the fun things about doing what I do now. And just really briefly, in a past life, I was a IT guy before there were IT guys. That was my first career after college. And I love the work. I'm technically minded. And so it was a glove for my hand or vice versa. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's a really stressed world. And so the excuse me, the best compliment you get is simply being invited back to do work. I had customers for upwards of 25 years in a really technically challenging universe. And brush making, you get to meet people at their best. And so I have been so fortunate. I have more people that I just genuinely enjoy yakking with that are all over the place. And the irony is I'm kept so busy I don't get a chance to do that, probably for their benefit. When I was in school, I was going to be a college professor, and so I learned how to run my mouth, but I never really learned when to stop, as you've seen several times in this conversation. So it's my strength and my weakness all in one.
Okay.
So thank you so much. I can't tell you how much this means to me, and
I appreciate your comment and taking the time, and I'm glad you remembered.
yeah, that was so embarrassing. And
no, that's okay. I just went ahead and started talking and showing off your brushes and why I like them. So it was just intro right into having you show up.
cool. Well, the good thing is I have the StreamYard app on my phone now, so next time
Yeah.
I'll be a lot more prepared. I was looking all
That's
over the place to get it to work, and then they finally sent me a pop-up that said, "Why don't you try using this?" And so
yeah.
there we are. So
Well,
Pam, thank you once again.
so
Buffy,
much.
thank you. It's nice to hear from you. And
Yeah, she had to sign off. She's got a live class at 2
cool.
2 p.m. Eastern time. So, which I usually watch her class as well, but I'll watch her replay.
What's the name of her Facebook site? Do you remember? I used to know it, but I can't think of it now.
Watercolor Pour.
That's it. That's it.
Watercolor Pour. And then I have another friend, YouTube friend, watercolorist. Hers is called Art on the Creek, and it's Ann Hemmel. And she says she gets your newsletter. And she wasn't going to be able to watch today, but she's going to try to watch the replay. And she loves your brushes too. She's in Colorado. So
cool. I remember. Yes.
Yeah. And
it's hard to keep. And Okay, so this is going to be published on your Facebook, on your Follow Your
This is
Brush
going to be,
Facebook,
this
and
is
then
Follow Your Brush YouTube Live. That's what
YouTube
we're
and
doing
live.
now,
Okay.
and which will be saved. You know, it'll stay there, and then I will share the link and share it on my Facebook page as well. So that's a private group of over 900. But
Cool. It's continuing
so
to grow.
we'll do both. Yeah, my grandkids said, "Grandma, you're a social media influencer."
You're a rock star. In my opinion, you are anyway.
Yeah,
So
and you are
keep,
to me. So
oh,
thank
thank
you
you.
so much, Tracy. I appreciate you so much, and love seeing all your adventures and following you on Facebook too. So thank you so much for today.
Thank you back. And I will check out the websites and I'll answer questions on them for the next week or so.
Yeah, and
And
I'll start making my list for Santa and his elves
cool.
early.
And one last comment. If anybody has any questions, send me email. It's the best way to contact me. I get
Okay.
lost on all the social media outlets and I never get back to them.
All right.
I logged on to Instagram for the first time in like 2 months and there's like 80 messages waiting for me. And
Okay.
I feel horrible about that.
And your
But anyway,
email, what is your email?
it's info, INFO at Lebenzon-paintbrushes.com.
Okay.
Rather than spelling that, just look up Tracy Handmade Brushes and you'll find it that way. And yeah, let me know in your case if I can answer any questions, and I'll watch it on Facebook and on YouTube as well.
Sure.
So Pam, thank you once again. Have an awesome day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
I've got to get a multiple clock things that says when it's this time here, it's this time there. So
that's okay. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and go feed your raccoons.
they'll be back later. They were here at about 5 this morning. Thank you so much, Pam. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.